When you strip away the noise and the bright lights, it's just the game you loved as a kid.
Wilson just dropped its ad for the new Caitlin Clark signature basketballs, and like Caitlin on the court, it's pure cinema. Fans aren't just buzzing because it's a great ad, which it absolutely is, but because it captures something bigger. In less than 60 seconds, it explains the Caitlin Clark effect, why her fans love her, why she matters, and why she's the face of the WNBA.
I don't think you could have a more perfect, a more perfect promotion campaign for anyone as what Wilson are just doing for Caitlin Clark. It's been legitimately perfect.
And it's not just the ad. The product itself is tailor-made for her. The details are incredible. You can tell Wilson went all in to personalize every element of these signature basketballs to Caitlin Clark and to actually tell her story through the design. I'll break down all the specifics in a second, but get this. She's only the second basketball player ever to receive a Wilson signature basketball line. After, you guessed it, Michael Jordan. And speaking of Air Jordan, after seeing this, fans are asking the obvious question.
Where the hell is Nike? Where are you, Nike?
Despite being the most popular female athlete on the planet, Caitlin Clark still doesn't have a signature shoe. It defies logic, but now we might finally understand why.
Nike, we need to talk about Caitlin Clark. Let's you and me talk about Caitlin Clark since you refuse to talk about Caitlin Clark.
A Nike insider recently shared what might be the real reason behind the delay. And yeah, it's just as maddening as you'd expect, especially when you compare it to what Wilson just pulled off. So let's get right into the new Wilson campaign. But first, like this video if you think Nike, unlike Wilson, is seriously dropping the ball with Caitlin. See what I did there? And don't forget to subscribe for more updates on Caitlin Clark and everything happening around the WNBA.
Now the first female athlete to have a signature basketball collection.
So let's start with this. Wilson, unlike some other brands we'll talk about in a moment, has consistently done right by Caitlin Clark. Last year, they launched her first signature basketball line to huge fanfare. And again, just to underscore how rare this is, she was only the second athlete ever, after Michael Jordan, to have a full basketball collection with Wilson. And this year, they took it to a whole new level. They created a signature product worthy of the face of the WNBA. This wasn't some lazy collab where they slapped her name on a ball and called it a day. Caitlin was involved in the design of all 4 basketballs. Every texture, every color, every phrase, every pattern was intentional. Just check out these details. The Aspire ball looks simple at first. White or gray, nothing flashy. But take it outside, and that's where the magic kicks in. Under sunlight, hidden messages appear in bold fever red. Dream big. Keep going. And the most personal one of all, you're going to be amazing because you are amazing. Do you recognize where that quote's from? Here's a hint.
Be amazing because you are amazing.
That's not just a marketing line. It's what Caitlin tells her teammate Aaliyah Boston before every game. That's the kind of thoughtful detail that transforms a product into an actual moment. And that's just the start. Next is the Envision ball, designed for outdoor play with what looks like a maze pattern across the surface. But look closer, and you'll see it actually spells out Dream Big in a custom, repeating design. Then there's the Oasis ball, drenched in Caitlin's favorite color, light blue and inspired by this.
Next on the team, Caitlin Clark.
That's right, it's inspired by her time spent golfing. One panel even features an abstract aerial design of a golf course, a cool personal touch that connects her off-court life to the product. And finally, there's the Embrace ball, the real deal Evo NXT, regulation quality built for actual game use. Because of league rules, it couldn't be flashy, but Wilson still found a way to make it special. This may be the coolest detail yet. Around the air hole and inside the Wilson logo is a light blue sunburst pattern, a decibel meter graphic made from actual crowd noise recorded during a Fever game. Literally, the roar of Caitlin's fans in the palm of your hands. But Wilson wasn't done. The product and design were already a masterclass, and then they dropped this.
Chance of defense by the Sparks fans. 6 on the shot clock. Clark, a deep 3.
Feet on the hardwood, basketball in hand. guiding you, inspiring you, working on the player you dream to be. Because the ball will always bring you back to your favorite place. Calm, focused, and confident. To the place all roads lead, the game of basketball.
Now, I'm about to get into Nike, and how it's now abundantly clear they're fumbling the bag. But before I do, there's one thing I need to point out, because it's directly related. This Wilson ad, this product, it's all about basketball. The love of the game, the grind, the joy. And that's all you need to do with Caitlin Clark. You don't have to overthink it. Just show her doing what she does best, and people will show up.
There is no better way to promote Caitlin Clark. She doesn't need any promotion of pregame fits. There doesn't need to be any, like, even a Nike terrible promotion is like, you can't win, so win, while ignoring her. You don't need to see, there doesn't need to be any of that crap. There doesn't need to be any bells and whistles. All you have to do is promote basketball.
And really, this has always been the hallmark of Caitlin's brand, and the reason she resonates with so many people. It's not manufactured, it's not forced. It's just pure love of the game, relentless work ethic, and undeniable joy every time she steps on the court. That's what makes her so popular. That's what makes her magnetic.
Caitlin, every shot you make is one less that I have to do.
You climb the mountain high.
I mean, just look at her Dude Perfect collab. It's pulling in millions of views, and it's not about who has the flashiest pregame outfit or the most curated image. It's about being best in class, honing your craft, and making the impossible possible. That's the lane Caitlin lives in, and fans eat it up. And then there's her recent media appearance, where she talked about her injury. Want to know what she said she misses the most?
I think at times the hardest part is like just not being able to be involved in practice. Like, I love practice. Not a ton of people always enjoy like coming to practice every single day, but that's something I like really enjoy. Like, I really enjoy coming out here and like competing every single day with my teammates. Like, that's probably honestly what I miss most. Obviously I miss the games. That goes for anybody that's ever hurt, but like, I love practice. I love getting better.
We know this about Caitlin Clark. She's wired for continuous improvement. She's about being the best, pushing herself, and doing what it takes to win. Like the ball says, dream big. But Caitlin backs that up with relentless work. It was one of the first things head coach Stephanie White pointed out during training camp. She didn't talk about hype or headlines. She talked about Caitlin's drive, her preparation, and how she shows up every single day looking to get better.
Yeah, I mean, I think first and foremost, one of the things that, I knew about her from afar, but just seeing it on a daily basis is the way she works. I mean, we talk about work ethic a lot, but work style is another thing. And she doesn't waste reps. She literally does embody the how you do anything is how you do everything, whether it's a ball handling drill or a shooting drill or setting screens. I mean, she approaches it with such a discipline that she doesn't waste time, and I appreciate that. And so it's been nice and refreshing being in the gym with her.
And for anyone really paying attention, this has become the ultimate comeback to that tired argument that Caitlin was just handed a platform she didn't earn. She wasn't gifted anything. She earned it with her work ethic, consistency, and love for the game. I'll get into that more in a minute when we talk about Nike. But first, just listen to the Hall of Famer herself, Cheryl Miller, break it down.
Yes. But she was in the backyard. She was putting in the same time, sometimes maybe more than you were.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I can't fault her for what she was given. But, look, as much as she was given, you can't tell me if that door would have swung the other way where she didn't live up to the hype.
Right.
Come on, folks are still waiting for her to fall.
Exactly.
Come on.
Yep.
From start to finish, Wilson absolutely nailed who Caitlin Clark is. Not just as a player, but as a person. And the end product? It's not just cool, it's genuinely inspiring. Which brings us to the brand that should be absolutely killing it with Caitlin right now, Nike.
Nike seems to be continuing to fumble the bag when it comes to Caitlin. She still doesn't have a signature shoe. The merch is very limited that they put out for Caitlin Clark, and a lot of fans are wondering why.
You'd think that with Caitlin Clark having Michael Jordan level magnetism, she'd already be lacing up her own Kate Force ones by now. But when you look at how Wilson is crushing it, nailing the product, telling a story, personalizing every detail, you can't help but wonder, what is Nike doing? Yes, a signature shoe is reportedly in the works. But let's be honest, Caitlin is already the biggest star in America. Michael Jordan got Air Jordans in his rookie year. LeBron had his own shoe in his first season too. When Nike sees a once-in-a-generation talent, they usually move fast, and in this case, waiting any longer makes zero financial sense. But I refuse to believe the biggest sports brand in the world is dumb. There has to be a reason, and now we may finally understand why. Jordan Rodgers, who spent 15 years in Nike's marketing department, just spilled the tea. And what he said about how Nike is handling Caitlyn. It's eye-opening.
I want to show you two different charts here. One, your stock price since 2021. It is down nearly 60%. Your executives and the people who are making these decisions, their stock options are worthless. Meanwhile, you have the single biggest needle mover in all of American sports since Michael Jordan, and you have somehow convinced yourself that you need to slow play this.
It's no secret that Nike sales are slumping hard right now. Part of the reason? Their legacy lines, like Jordan's, aren't moving like they used to. They need a fresh face, a new wave, something with real momentum. And Caitlin Clark is an absolute no-brainer. So why are they slow playing this? Why, in a moment where she's the most talked about athlete in the country, is Nike not taking the Kate train to Moneytown? That's the billion-dollar question. And what Jordan said gives us a pretty frustrating answer.
I am so confused as to how you would be so invested in the WNBA for several years, and you have been doing great work to try to elevate and uplift that league and many of the athletes there. But this seems like you have convinced yourself that this needs to be an either-or conversation. And we never have an either-or conversation in the men's sports. You have like 10 signature athletes. Half of them don't deserve a signature shoe.
Did you catch the image of A'ja Wilson's A1 shoes in that video Jordan Rodgers posted? Subtle, but it said a lot. And do you remember Nike's complete silence during Caitlyn's Iowa homecoming game against the Brazilian national team? That was a massive day for her, and honestly, for the WNBA as a whole. They sold 15,000 tickets in minutes and pulled 1.3 million viewers for what was essentially an exhibition. That's more than what some WNBA playoff games draw. And Nike? Not a single tweet, no post, nothing. Their silence was deafening, to the point where Caitlyn's own boyfriend retweeted a post calling out Nike's inaction.
And I don't know if you saw, but her boyfriend on his page reposted this, which I guess it could have been an accident, but I'm going to assume, y'all don't got internet or what? That's because apparently Nike didn't say anything. They were radio silent.
When the people closest to her are willing to speak up like that, you know something's off. The big question was, how could Nike not know? I talked about this in another video, and honestly, my theory still holds. I think they absolutely did know. And here's where it ties back to A'ja Wilson.
A'ja Wilson's on top, can't take her spot.
Her signature shoes launched just a few days after Caitlyn's Iowa homecoming game. So the theory is this. Nike didn't want anything distracting from A'ja's moment. They stayed quiet, not because they overlooked Caitlyn, but because they intentionally stepped back to protect that launch. And now, with what Jordan just revealed, it feels like that theory is pretty much confirmed.
Your tagline in that was "You can't win, so win." One of the best explanations I can come up with is that you are wringing your hands and afraid to enter into this politically divisive conversation that has been co-opted by the media and pundits who are race baiting and doing all kinds of ridiculous things around women's basketball. You can't win, so win. You have the unicorn, the chosen one, the one who everyone wants to hear from, and you were just sitting around Gatorade, State Farm, Gainbridge, Wilson Basketball, have all figured out how to have a point of view with Caitlin Clark. Please, for the love of God, figure something out.
It appears that the same politics overshadowing what should be the WNBA's shining moment are now spilling over into Nike too. And honestly, Stephen A. Smith breaks it down perfectly. He cuts through all the noise and explains exactly why this is such a missed opportunity.
And then you have a lot of folks that have come to the defense of numerous WNBA players because they were pointing out, like, this has been going on before long and people are not hating on her. It's not about hating on her. It's that you feel she is getting a level of attention that you deserved and you warranted long before she ever came along.
There's definitely a sense of entitlement in parts of the WNBA and a real undercurrent of jealousy when it comes to Caitlin Clark. Now, to be clear, I don't think players dislike Caitlin the person. If anything, they respect her talent. They know how good she is. And we're seeing a lot of supportive voices out there too, from legends to fans to analysts. It's impossible not to, because her impact is undeniable. But there's also real resentment. And it feels like that resentment is so deep, that the league itself is holding back. Holding back from promoting her the way they should. Holding back from fully embracing the momentum she's created.
Jordan, Kobe came along, there was resentment. I mean, the list goes on and on. It happens. So to me, there's nothing wrong with the resentment that you may feel towards what she represents. It's actually good because it provokes a level of hostility, which elevates the competitive fervor, and y'all go out there and compete, and everybody gets paid. But unfortunately, you almost feel like you have some folks within the WNBA that wishes that would rather not be in a very fruitful position because of their resentment towards her. And they won't admit it, but I've been talking about it for months.
Again, Nike seems to have the same playbook. Like the WNBA, they have a golden goose on their hands. Caitlin Clark is a generational marketing opportunity. But just like the league, there seems to be some hesitation to go all in. At least not before other players have their moment. And that might explain why Caitlin reportedly won't have a signature shoe until 2026. It looks like Nike wants to give Asia's line time to breathe, to sell, to have its own space. Because they know, once Caitlin's shoes drop, they'll dwarf every other signature release. There's a strong chance Caitlin's become the most popular basketball shoe in the brand's lineup. It's not just going to be WNBA diehard fans picking them up, it'll be the casuals. So yeah, it smells like politics. And it might be costing both Nike and the WNBA in a big way. Because every time Caitlin shines, the league shines with her. The players benefit, the teams benefit, the sponsors benefit. Slowing that down, for whatever reason, does more harm than good.
She could be $1 billion athlete. Like, when I see these numbers, I'm like, oh, this is Tiger in the tour. This isn't even Jordan. This is totally different.
We now know Caitlin Clark is estimated to be worth around $1 billion to the league in 2025. We've seen what happens when she's not on the court. Ticket prices drop and viewership dips. The Fever's game against the Sky had seats going for as low as $3 before tip-off. That's the value gap when Caitlin isn't playing. And honestly, it's sad. After watching the Wilson campaign, the detail, the care, the lack of politics, you realize something. Millions of fans are missing out on a massive opportunity to carry Caitlin and the WNBA brand everywhere they go.
People want to buy Caitlin Clark things, and they especially want to buy Caitlin Clark Nike things. Why is Nike continuing to wait so long into her WNBA career when you could have put something out last year and it would have sold out? It doesn't make much sense.
That visibility, that cultural momentum, it could have and should have been happening now, right in the middle of a CBA year, arguably the most important in WNBA history. And at a time when the league's off-promoted quote-unquote star, Angel Reese, is going viral not for dominance, but for missing wide-open layups. She's becoming a meme while Caitlin, sidelined, becomes more relevant. I'm not teeing up this clip to insult Angel, but this is the reality of what's happening right now.
Here we go. Here it is.
Bricklayer.
Here it is.
Here it comes.
Here it is. Here it is.
Let's fucking go.
When you prop up a player to be at Caitlin's level, and then she continues to struggle with fundamentals to the point where casuals watch her exclusively to see her miss wide-open layups and get swatted, and those are the videos that go viral, you've got a problem. And guess what? While Caitlin waits patiently for Nike to finish her shoes, Angel's got a signature shoe with Reebok. This is the time to celebrate skill and lean into the special connection players have with fans. At some point, the WNBA and its biggest sponsors have to look in the mirror and ask the obvious. Why are we fighting the current instead of riding it? It's time to set the jealousy aside and win with the star the whole world already chose. It's time for the WNBA and Nike to wake up and smell the billions. And take a page from Wilson, which, excuse the pun, actually had the balls to nail it. If you're still here, drop a basketball in the comments to let me know. Thanks for watching. See you next time.